Yes, hey, this is Gary here, and well, look what we have. I have two Timex watches. Here's the thing. These watches are from the 70s and 80s. This gold one here on the right is definitely from the 70s. It belonged to my dad, and it hasn't really been running. I've just had it for, decades actually. And this other one is probably from, I would guess, maybe the 1980s, early 1980s, late 70s. Kind of a diver style watch. I love the black face with the yellow or orange second hand here. Just love the way it looks. They are Timex watches, and kind of meant to run for a long time, just as kind of like an everyday watch. But really not a watch that is very well known for being able to be repaired. You don't see a lot of that. And I just want to kind of dig into them because I would love to see if I can clean and get them going again. And with Timex, I think you just hear a lot of stories like, oh my gosh, you just can't work on them. They're not jeweled. They're cheap. Just very difficult to work on. And I've never worked on them, so I'm just going to give it a try and see what I come up with. But really, at first glance, what I see here is this one. Speaking of not jeweled, this gold one actually is jeweled. It's called the Timex 21, and it says 21 joules, water resistant. And this, by the way, looks so 1970s with these block applied, what do you call it, markers, minute markers here around the dial. Of course, this is a date. Actually, they're both date complications. And this one doesn't say that it's jeweled. So I'm going to dig into this and see. We'll probably just take them one at a time. If I had to pick, I think I might try to work on this one first. But they're in pretty good, vintage condition. A little bit of a chip here, but I love the sunburst dial that kind of flickers in the light. Got a little heft to it. Not really clunky by today's watch standards, but probably was for the 1970s. Got a really cheap band on here that actually some green stuff going on here where it's got a little mold or something on it. So I'd obviously get rid of that. I'm going to try to take the back off. Hey, all right. Okay, well, that wasn't too bad. Well, what I see here is, interestingly, this says case is France Timex, which is, whoa, here. I was going to see if it said Japan underneath here or USA. It doesn't, there's just a serial number there. It doesn't say the name of it. So this surround, okay, that goes on there. And then, all right, so let me kind of go a little bit closer here. So you can see where the jeweled areas are here, and I'm seeing that it has a plate here. I don't see any screws from this side, so that's different. And I bet that screw there, to loosen that, will probably allow you to take the winding stem out. There's the barrel, mainspring barrel. And of course, here's the balance. See if I can put a little air on there, if it'll turn. Oh yeah, there. I saw it moving there. All right, well, that's not bad. This right here, and while I have it out, I'm going to get the other one, and just we can just maybe compare the movements. Okay, so you can compare these two. So some of the similarities here is kind of the same layout with the barrel bridge up here and the balance down here, the same screw to remove the winding stem. This one appears to be unjeweled. Do you see that? has this design on here that looks like a star. Some kind of starburst. It kind of like the starburst theme is continued on the movement. That's really unique. It's I think even more unique when you think that these were kind of like disposable watches. So you didn't think of these watches as ones that would be open to be repaired over and over again by a watchmaker. So the fact that it has this decoration on there is kind of interesting. It has these kind of half circles, and then the three starburst designs. Pretty cool. Coming out. Don't need to take it out all the way, but I just turned it about 1 or 2 turns. Now to see if this will come out, and it will. Oh, yes. So there we have it. Taking this out of the watch, it actually, this dial is in pretty good condition. Very clean. The crystal is, I can see some stressed fractures, but they are very light. I don't mind that. I said that in some of my other videos too, is I'm not hesitant to just leave a crystal like this in here because I think it just adds to the vintage appeal. It's kind of like a patina. As long as it's not obstructing the view of the dial and the functionality, I think I would just tend to leave it. But I really like that gold tone. Okay, I put the winding stem back in for a minute in order to line up the hands, make it a little bit easier to remove them. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's moving. Yep, like that. 1. 2. 3. Now we'll see if that will. Oh, yep, I can see it start to separate. Do you see it? Oh, yeah, that came right off. Let's have a look. Okay, there's the calendar wheel. That looks very clean. Look at that. Do you see? That is that's stamped England. And the back cover is stamped France. So a little bit of a cross-channel watch assembly here. France and England. Let's see what this is made of. This looks like a metal or maybe a ceramic. It's not paper. So that's 12 o'clock position, 6 o'clock. The balance wheel is down to the 6 o'clock position, and this is the mechanism here that where you wind the watch or set the time. And here's the washer, the foil washer. And this should come up. This looks fairly standard. That's the cannon pinion. And what screws am I seeing here? Okay, there's a little screw there. So that's looks like the balance is held in place with that screw. Here's a plate here that holds the keyless works together with the screw. And that looks like that brass piece there is attached to the barrel, the mainspring barrel. And here's the click. That looks like that is maybe a captured part, unless it unscrews from the other side. I'll have to see about that. I should see about letting down the mainspring. Don't know if I would assume that there probably is a little bit of tension on the spring. Right there is the click. So let's see if after a couple attempts here to try to let down the spring, I'm not having any luck. Some of it is just because this movement holder is not quite holding it tight enough for me to try to back off this click plate right here. So what I'm going to do is just going to kind of keep going with the disassembly. Spring is held in with this screw here. Now I have to see how this top plate is going to be challenging. I can already tell because there are how many pivots? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pivots plus the barrel. Whoa. That is a lot. Okay, that's out. Okay, if you can see that, but see this top plate here is now starting to get loose. It's really just held in place. Oh, it's starting to come. Okay. I'm going to flip this over because I don't want to lose the placement of where those wheels are. Whoa! Okay. All right. Wow. It just all came apart. Wow. And you heard the spring go. So I did the very thing, like the cardinal rule of watchmaking, by not letting that mainspring down, the barrel has popped out. Hopefully it hasn't damaged any of these wheels. That's really, really bad. I really should have tried to get that. Okay, here it is, just on my, ended up on my shirt, fortunately. Wow. All right, so what has happened is the barrel plate has come off. So the arbor popped out once the plate, which I assume this has a top plate, but maybe it doesn't. Well, I'm looking on the floor. What did I find? I don't know if I found anything that actually goes in the watch. Okay, let's survey the damage here. And I'm just going to point out some things that I see before I take it apart. So as I told you, here's the barrel, the mainspring barrel. I need to find the arbor because that must have popped out. Obviously, here's a wheel. Hopefully that's still okay. Look at these two things here. Okay, that's part of the keyless works. That's part of the keyless works, and that might actually go together, something like that, maybe. But that definitely has a little wheel in there. All right, I see the pallet fork. Yikes. That is really strange looking. That has 2 jewels on it. That pallet fork. Okay, so gonna go for the bridge. Let's remove the bridge here. Okay, so I'm seeing the escapement. And I'm seeing the, probably that is the minute. And then this is either the hour wheel or the minute wheel. That's actually the, oh, sorry, this, either the minute or the second. That's the second. Definitely the second wheel. Ooh, so fragile. I hope nothing got bent when I did that. And the balance. Okay, what do we have under here? A screw. That's the screw that I was working on that goes on this plate here. The screw on the underside of this plate. And so this plate goes, has 3 wheels. And the big wheel goes over, yeah, right there. And then this one looks like this wheel is captured in there. Maybe it doesn't come off. And then there's this 3rd wheel. So I removed one of the straps so far, and you can see, look at that. That is kind of like a form of rust or rot, this green gunk that's there on the metal. It might actually be a reaction between this old strap and the metal itself. But either way, it is pretty ugly. Let me see if I can take the other strap off here. There we go. Yeah, this strap is super old and just needs to be replaced. But let me see. Yuck. Yeah. That is really, it's really gross. Yeah. Looking a whole lot better. Already, just getting some of those big chunks out. As a matter of fact, I think I will just set that to the side and maybe use another one. Since I need to order a new strap here, let me 17 and so it's 17 but it'll make a 17.18 millimeter strap, so it'll just be a 17. So where we left off, I when the watch kind of exploded, I finished taking it very carefully apart, and now I've inventoried all the parts, and I actually have them all, have not lost any, and now I have also cleaned all the parts as well. So I cleaned them in an alcohol bath, and here they are. And I have the movement. Here's just a couple things I'll point out that are just very interesting about this particular Timex movement. Is the balance is it's not a balance complete like other watches. It is I wasn't. I guess I could have taken the balance off of the main plate, but it looked like it didn't really want to come. And I didn't want to unscrew it all. I would have had to actually take the hairspring off, which I didn't want to to do for obvious reasons. So I left it. And here's the other thing, very unique too with the mainspring barrel. It doesn't have a barrel cap. The mainspring is in there, and then the arbor. Remember, I was looking for the arbor. The arbor is actually attached kind of permanently to the to a shaft here on the main plate. So here's the arbor right there. So the mainspring barrel just flips over, and then it catches on the arbor hook, and that's how it goes together. But here's the big challenge of this movement, and you can see it here on the top plate, is all of the pivot points here that have to align in order for the bridge to go on. It's just one bridge. It's just it could be a massive amount of work. But look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jewels plus the mainspring barrel post there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 is the it's a pinion winder over here, pinion winder, and has these two metal holders, and that goes right there where the keyless works are. So all of that has to line up on one plate. Oh, and of course I forgot the balance. So that's 8 things that have to line up on one plate to get that in. So that is the challenge of this reassembly, is to see if that is possible by someone like me. So we're about to find out. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start by putting this back together. So let me see if I can get the balance in the right place here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So this first jewel right here is where the pallet fork goes. This is a very unique looking pallet fork. It's actually not fork shaped. It's kind of like I don't know what you would call that shape. It's just kind of straight, but you can see the two pallet stones there, and the shaft. So that is going to go right in there. Yeah, that is really very hard to get in there. Okay, I'm going to adjust adjust the balance. It helps if that balance is just in the right place. It's a little shaky when it is in the right place, because of course, it needs the top part to really help it stabilize, and top part's not on yet. So not much to grab onto here. Can't grab a hold of the jewels because I don't want to risk them coming off. So it's just like really just one place on the little leg right there to try to grab a hold of. Oh, so close. Oh, I think I got it. Have to get it, and then the fork, yeah, like that. You can see that. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. But what we have here is the pallet fork is in the jewel hole now, and the fork part of the of the pallet is on the pallet stone, which is on the balance. And the more precise that you can get this, the better chance we have of the, oh no, did you see that? I just knocked, darn it, I just knocked that pallet. I knocked the pallet fork out of the hole. It is going to take a few times to do it. And I don't know how other people do this when they make videos, is, you know, if you did this in real time and if you showed it, at least how I do it, you know, you'd have a 3-hour video. So when I edit my videos, I try to take out the boring things while still trying to give a sense of how long it takes. You know, it just takes a while. And that's okay. That's kind of where you need to find the fun of it. You know, you might look at this and say, oh my gosh, I could never do this. It would just drive me crazy. And I get it. Just so happens that I find it relaxing. And it feels great when you can actually get it and get the watch together. Well, that was a happy accident. I tapped the holder with my finger and it actually settled the pallet fork onto the impulse jewel. So that was a good result. That was just total luck. Okay, so next is the mainspring barrel. I'm going to put a little bit of grease. It's an open barrel, so you know, that means this plate here serves as the barrel plate, barrel top, I guess you'd say. And I don't want to put a whole lot of grease in here just because it will come out quicker. So I'll just put just a touch, just a little bit. So this will go right like this, and then I need to turn it in such a way so that the spring catches on the arbor. There we go. There we go. Now I'll give it a little test by winding it a little bit. I think it's this way. Wind it this way, counterclockwise. I feel it engaging. So now watch, if I let it go, see it go? There we go. That means when it will wind this way, yeah, it wants to go back. So that is set. Just make sure that that's seated in there. Next is the escapement. It's going to go right in here. Next is the minute wheel. Okay. And it has to snake down into this, like, just tiny little area between these two. Okay. Fortunately, it has that really long seconds staff on there, and so like that, it just kind of fell right into place. Now, I have to also do the pinion winder. So the pinion winder, carefully move this over here. Any bit of Rodica would pick that up. And then that. The winding stem actually, when the watch is assembled, it will go through these three pieces. So I'll just put it together now just to make sure that it's lined up. And it's going to go right in here. Okay. I'll have to do it again. The pinion winder part just fell out. Firmly. And then put it in so that it doesn't slip. All right. Before I try to put the plate on, the one thing I'm a little bit worried about is the balance. I think the balance is just a little bit off of its pivot point on the bottom. I'm trying to straighten it without, oh my goodness, without moving the palette fork. Okay, the palette fork came out, so I'm going to take it out so that I can reset the balance. And that is the problem right there, is that that's correct. It's wobbly, but it is in the bottom pivot hole, but it doesn't hang evenly. So when you go to put the palette fork on, it's really difficult. Okay, let me try the palette again. Okay, that's good news. I got the palette fork in the hole, but the palette jewels now need to go underneath the escapement. Okay, so I got the palette fork in, and it's engaging okay with the escapement, but now the balance has moved again. Oh wait, no, the palette is not in. Oh my gosh. There we go. I just saw it jump in there. It's okay. The balance wheel is lined up, but the palette pivot is now out. That looks really close. That looks close enough now to hold my breath and try to put this top bridge on. you have like one chance to kind of let it drop on. I'm going to hold it down and try to give the balance a little bit of a turn to see if it's close. There's a couple points that are not in. I would bet that it's probably the pallet fork and the escapement and the balance. So from where I left off, it is now, I'd say maybe 5 days later, and I've been working on this movement here for, I bet, easily 4 or 5 hours, from where the point was where I was putting in the wheels and then trying to get the plate on top. I mean, it's almost impossible, honestly. And what I did was I got, after several times taking it, thinking I was getting it, and then I didn't get it, and I had to take it apart, and then trying to get everything just right with particularly the pallet fork, because it's so tiny and it weighs nothing, and it's right next to the balance wheel, which was a little bit wobbly. So I had to. Actually, I used just a little bit of Rodico and kind of wound down the balance so that it kind of sat flat on the plate. Put a little Rodico to hold it in place, and then put the top bridge on. And right away, I was able to get 2 of the wheels, get them lined up. And of course, then the easier one here is the mainspring barrel. And so before I knew it, I had 4 of the 8. With this one, I got 5 of the 8. And so I was really close. And then I spent probably at least an hour, maybe 2 hours, trying to get the pallet fork pivot in the top plate. And that took a long time. To complicate things, you'll see, I noticed, we mentioned it before, the screws are on the bottom of the plate, not on the top of the plate. So once you kind of get it in place, then you have to take it out of the winder and flip it and try to put the screws in. And it's just not an easy movement to work on. So here's where I am now. The plate is on, but the wheels are moving. They're not moving right now. I can't get it to run. The balance is really stiff. I had put the screws in really tight because I needed to hold the pallet fork pivot in place, and that created another problem that I'll show you on the other side. But I did want to mention too that one of the things that helped me was that there are kind of like Inca block style cap jewels right here, right here, and right here. And so, you'll see here, you can kind of see the top of the pivot. You see that stainless steel dot right there. So once I took those out, and I'll show you what they look like. They're in my parts tray. There's 2 of them right there. But let's take a look at the back. I noticed that this cap jewel on the bottom escapement, the cap jewel is broken. It's cracked. And I honestly don't know. I don't know if it was that way when I started. I don't think it was. I think I actually probably cracked it when I really just screwed things down too tightly. And I think I broke that cap jewel. So what I need to do is I need to take that off. That should release some pressure from it. Hopefully I didn't bend the escapement pivot. Okay, there it is. It's kind of cracked in 3 pieces. Nothing yet on the balance. Let's just check the lateral movement on the balance. Oh boy, that's tight. Oh, oh yeah, did you see that? Now the balance is much better. When I move this, you know, what I'm looking for is I want to be able to see the palette. Oh, okay. That's good. So the palette is moving, and I want to see if the big question is the escapement, if the escapement wheel is turning. After a couple minutes of tinkering, I have found something really disappointing, and it's probably going to be, it might mean the failure of this watch. It certainly, I think, will mean the failure of of this attempt to put the top plate on. And here I'll show you. It's the it looks to me like the escapement wheel is broken. You can just see it through here, so you can see the pallet jewel, but right next to it there, you can see the kind of the zigzag shape of the escapement wheel. I'm just touching it there. If I touch it on this side, you should be able to see it move. See how it's moving up and down? It should not be doing that. Not only is the escapement wheel moving laterally, which it shouldn't be doing, but when I do that, I can see through the jewel, I can see the cog that is attached to the escapement wheel. And so I think the escapement shaft is broken or has become detached. And that's why this is happening. And so so it's not going to run. I need to take it apart, which I hate to do because literally it took so long to get to this point. Whoa, that's really moving there. Clearly something's wrong. Oh. That sounded really weird. The spring just let itself down. Wild. It is really wild. That's what that whirring sound was. The spring inside the barrel let itself down. Oh, this is painful. Now, let me just see if I can see any issues with this escapement from this angle. All right, well, I'm going to take it apart. Oh. The second hand is broke. The second wheel came apart. What in the world? The second wheel came off of the pin. Oh no. Okay. And the escapement, I still don't know if it is, well, if it's truly broken or not. That's the pallet fork. It just came out of its pivot hole there. Okay. I see. Yikes. Yeah, the escapement wheel, the pivot, the top pivot broke off. Yep, because it should have a point right there. And that broke off. Wow, so that's 2 broken wheels. Let's see about this one. That one's still okay. That one appears to be okay. And the pallet fork, that shaft appears to be okay too. That is a shame. These 2 wheels, I don't know. I'm going to take a closer look at these. This second wheel, and then also the escapement, to see what I might be able to do about that. Maybe get a replacement escapement wheel. But honestly, this process of repairing this is so difficult. I don't even know if I might just call it. I don't know what to do. I need to have a think about this. Yeah, so right now, not good. Not good. So the project is at a standstill. So I guess wait for part 2 to see what I do with this in order to see if I can salvage this project. But not the result that I wanted, but that's where we're at. Sometimes it goes that way. Well, I put a plan in motion here. And what I did was, because I had broken the escapement wheel, I thought, well, maybe I could find a cheap movement that I could just steal an escapement wheel from and put my movement back together. So, several of these watches available on Craigslist, none with just the movement by themselves. And as I was browsing, I found this guy here, and obviously it's the same model of watch, and it has this kind of 1970s leather or faux leather strap on it that I actually kind of really think is cool. So here's my plan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this watch apart, take the movement out of it rather, and I'm going to use the movement as a complete thing, clean it without taking it all the way apart, and then I'm going to put the dial from my father's watch and the hands from that watch, and the case from that watch. I'm going to assemble that together, and so essentially it'll be my father's watch with a replacement movement on it. But I just am not willing to spend another 6 hours on this watch, which would, that's what would have to happen. I would have to take this one apart to get the escapement out, and then hope and pray that I could get the movement back together without me breaking apart again. And you know what? It's just the ROI on that investment is, it's just not worth it. As you can see, this movement is moving fine. And I've worn it for a day, and it keeps pretty good time over the course of a couple days. So I think if I just take it apart, clean what I can without removing the top plate, oil it, I think it will be just fine. So that's my plan. Let me show you the strap here. I mean, this is kind of like a survivor, this watch. It's pretty dirty. The the buckle is, just like it's been sitting in a drawer for a while, but it looks to be a brass buckle, so that should shine up. This strap, some of the stitching it's coming out, so I'm going to restitch it. Restitch that and clean the leather, and then put some leather conditioner on it. But look at that, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's just a clunky old, just, I think the band is one of the reasons I bought this. Like, I wanted to have a working movement, but I also just really love this band. I think it just is kind of a statement piece. Looks very 1970s. So let's get started here. These should just snap off. Yeah. So actually, I was going to say this leather is not very supple, but actually in here it's not so bad. But that green crap in there, that's it's kind of like rust, I guess. Just what metal does, as it reacts with leather over time. You see that a lot with watch straps. See, pretty gross. But all that'll get cleaned up. Great. Yeah, we'll get that cleaned up, and my hope is it'll we'll get it sewn up and cleaned up, and it will actually look and feel a whole lot better. It's kind of like cardboard here on the sides. Yep, pretty dirty. But as I said, this case, I don't need this case. I just need to get the movement out. Let's see what it looks like inside. Yeah, it looks about the same as the other one. So you can see the escapement moving in there, and the pallet fork. That's a nice sight. Great to see that. Remove the bracket. Yeah, when we clean that up and oil it, we should be able to see that the balance wheel moving even better than it is. Gosh, that is really dirty. Okay. There we go. I might just wait until it stops, and then I could take the hands off and take the dial off and just be patient about it. The movement is clean and dry, and I'm going to grease the barrel spring. There we go. Got a nice amount right in there on the other one. And I'm going to use the Rodico to put that on there. And the Rodico to put a jewel frame. I have that on there. That's great news. Okay. Cannon pinion. Okay. Okay, on this side, I need to oil these cap jewels, and I want to oil the balance, and then I need to put these 3 cap jewels back on here. Oh, and I wanted to oil so I'm going to start with the palette fork. Okay. So I did some cutting there because that took a long time to get these 3 cap jewels and the cap jewel frames on, but they are on. Now I want to put the winding stem in because I want to test this, and I want to test not only to see if it will run smoothly, but also to see if that calendar wheel will move the way it's supposed to before I put it in the case. I'm going to put just a few winds on this to see if the balance will start working. That looks pretty good. Now I have to get it to turn the calendar over. I want to get this to turn over to 26. That would mean that it would be midnight. And so that means then I would need to put my hands at the midnight position. This is my test to see if, oh, is it turning? It is, it's turning. All right. Oh no. Okay, it's turning to 24. We're going back in time. Okay, not good. Means I'm turning it the wrong way. All right, so I need to turn it another 50 times or so here to. This movement does not have a pusher or any kind of kind of shortcut mechanism. It's where you can, pull it another click and get it to, turn really fast through the calendar numbers. You just have to wind it the hard way. There you go. There we go. 26. Great. Balance is still turning really well. I'm going to put this on, and I'll put the hands on. Just a couple taps. Tap. Okay, good. It's a little bit high. Great. Now, the trick is just so that it will not hit the other hands when it goes around. Let's see if it will pass okay. Yes. There we go. All right. That is good. That looks really good. So now I can take the case back and prepare that. That cleaned up really nice. The way I like to do this is just to balance it on my finger. Introduce it into the case. The last most complex thing here is getting this in. This should wind it. Yes. 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 All right. Well, we're getting very close here. That looks really good. These tabs here, I'm just bending them up a little bit. They touch the case back and they just hold everything securely. So I'm just giving them a little bit of a bend so that everything snugs up nice inside the watch. They'll crush down a little once we put the case back on. Okay. Everything's still turning even with that on. Case back. This has no orientation really, so I'll just put it so that it reads Timex, kind of lined up with the, if you flip the watch over, it would read correctly. The only thing about this watch is this this crown is so shallow and so close to the case that it really is hard to wind. And I tried to put on, I do have another crown that I could use, but it is just so stuck to the stem that I was afraid I'd break it. And so I can wind it, but it's just really uncomfortable. It's kind of a pain in the butt, Now, I also was working on the strap. So I've done a little work on this. I have cleaned it and put leather conditioner on it. And then I also kind of used light sandpaper on the buckle and got the rust off. And it's it's not brass or anything; it's just metal. But it looks a little bit better, like kind of like a brushed metal now. And then I did replace the stitching on it. There was right over here and at the point here, and then 2 sections over here. I was able to just kind of stitch that, but I kind of like it. I like, you would say like, why don't you just get a new band? Well, because I have this one, and I think it looks pretty cool. So what I'm going to do now is, just put this thing back together. This was very snug, so hopefully I'll be able to get this leather piece back in. Might have to use a tweezers or pliers to do that. Okay, here it comes. Okay, and that piece goes on the peg, and then the snap comes down like that. And the same thing on this side. There we go. There we go. So, here again, you've joined me for this journey, and thanks for coming with me on this, because I'm really excited to have this. And it's just, when you can resurrect a watch that's been in the family. This was my father's watch. Even with the way we did it, we learned something together here on these Timex movements, and I know how I'm going to approach working on Timex before. At the start of the video, I brought in this one. I showed this one. This one, the movement is not a jeweled movement, and actually this one is running. So I am going to do the same thing with this. Just clean it in an alcohol bath and give it a good oiling and a cleaning, and get it back on my wrist. And I'm hoping that will solve the issues of stopping and not keeping good time. It's worth a shot, right? Why not? That's the thing about this is, this is probably a $10 or $20 watch. Maybe on eBay as much as maybe 30 or 40. So it's who cares? If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But I really like this one. Actually, I like this one better than the gold one. But maybe I'll be able to have them both running well, because actually right now they are both running. And so that's a project for another day. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time here on the bench with Gary.